Welcome back YouTubers to my channel of an everyday life of an ASB. If you're new to my channel, I welcome you all. I'm ASB. I'm all about creating mental health and sharing my life stories with Asperger's syndrome and the like, along with tips and advice along the way, along with hopefully fun and games. So if you're into any of these, smash the like button or feel free to subscribe on the bottom right hand corner of the screen, and also in saying this, turn on the notification bell for future videos like these and many more to come. So it has been brought to my attention as it reads basically about what it's like living with social anxiety and anxiety in general. So I'm going to just do it an uptake, and please just be aware that everybody's differences of opinion when commenting. If you feel to comment, just respect each one of us that is on that forum when I open it up for the floorboard for you guys to discuss this, how you go about it and whatnot, because as I said, I'm trying to advocate and educate you all what life is like for me, as well as maybe for others around me that are like me or not. So as we know, basically, that in saying this also, I'm no medical doctor, I'm just your normal everyday Joe blog. So if you see anything out of the ordinary, seek professional help for yourself or your loved one, or seek second opinion for yourself or your loved one, because I don't forever condone self-harm. So I'm going to try and be as real as transparent with you all, because that's what I'm all about what this is all about for me. And I am not asking for sympathy or anything like that. All I'm asking for you guys is just to hear me out, and actually, if any of you are going through this, hopefully some of this you can relate in one way or another, and just hopefully we can just support one another, because no matter what mental health condition, we should be able to be just a family regardless. So social anxiety or anxiety in general can be so darn real dark and lonely at times, to the point where I'm living my life in constant fear of certain things, be it like if I'm going out places that I was invited to, be it parties, or just maybe to go shopping or waiting in queues, or even if I've got a doctor's dental appointment, that can trigger me off to a point. Or even it can come to the point of maybe even when I'm trying to initiate or start a conversation with someone new. So it's being somewhere new and in a new environment as well can trigger me off. Sometimes also when I have an anonymous caller on the phone, it really scares me to answer the phone, even though many people just keep saying, get over it, answer the phone, stop being lazy and all this nonsense, which that is no way to talk to someone with anxiety or social anxiety, because that can just make them feel more worse in themselves than ever before. And for me also, when it comes down to it, I try to socialize on a daily, one-on-one, or even in a group, even though larger groups beyond maybe numbers of 10 to 20 people can trigger me off with my anxiety, as well as when last few times, basically I had a few anxiety panic attacks back in the day when I first started out trying to do public speaking in schools of my speeches, anything that involves everyday activity. Yes, it's a constant everyday struggle with me and a battle that goes on inside this head, even though it may be a chemical imbalance, hearsay you could say. These struggles are real for me and many others that may face it on the daily, however. Some of these struggles inside my head also would be basically some of the voices that creates doubt, negativity, and everything else inside of me, saying that I'm not good enough, I'm not worth it, I'm not this, that, and the other. This has stemmed from when I was abused mentally to like a few years back, when the so-called ex put me down, constantly dragging me down with my low self-esteem and everything, because I used to be a go happy lucky girl sort of thing, and I'm trying to do it despite of what goes on around me. I try to mask and camouflage myself in my surroundings, even trying to choose, do I want to do the fight response, or do I just want to, as I said, put the mask on or camouflage myself and just trying to be inside the crowd and actually mingle and try to fit in and blend in with what's going on around me. And this time also, and thinking this during that time, it was spiraling out of control in some point, basically, of me with the social anxiety, or shall we say the anxiety in general, based on what I was going through, based on my low self-esteem, low self-worth and everything else, just choosing at that point of time that maybe that ex was right at the time, regardless. Anxiety at some point in my life will control my life, even though it's on a daily, it will be in the back of my mind of certain things that's eating at me, after certain thoughts. What will people think of me? Why aren't they texting me? Why aren't they calling me? Why aren't they inviting me to parties? The whys, what ifs, could haves, and should haves, even though I feel that, I'm doing myself a favour and choose to let it win when we know we shouldn't let anxiety or social anxiety or any other mental health disorder win, because it's all in our mindset, and how we go about it is obviously up to us and only us. In saying this though, some days also there will be some that I have my good days and bad days that I'll struggle also to, maybe when initiating a conversation, how and what to say to people, in the fear of hopefully not hurting people's feelings or not turn them down if I'm not in the mental state to socialise in parties and that, because obviously with my social anxiety it comes into 3 phases. Sometimes it may trigger off an attack if it's a new environment. Basically, next stage will be a meltdown or sensory overload sort of thing that comes in the territory of my autistic traits, and then majority of time, depending on the severity and degree of the meltdown, it will lead me to a shutdown period where I feel numb, cold, and just push people out. Despite my differences on how I speak and what I say, and that, I just feel that sometimes we need to respect everyone's differences of opinion, I believe, because at the end of the day, that's how I feel about it, because, that's just the way life is. But then again, I just try my hardest just to, push on, soldier on, as they say. And saying this also, basically, anxiety sometimes cripples me to the point of not using my voice, but now I'm starting to, use it through YouTube or the social medias, or even just through my writing on my blogs. Even though many people think that my writing is so powerful that I have a message, and they felt that I should be sharing it to the world of my struggles, and hopefully one day at a time I'm helping someone, or even in 1 hour, 1 minute of the day, whatever it may be. In saying this though, within this fearing of using my voice, again, it comes to that territory of my autistic traits masking or camouflaging all the fight, flight, fright response, depending where I am. Some days I may feel as if I'm being laughed at, talked about behind my back, and, pointing the fingers, even though we know that it's not all about us, even though you can't always stop that nagging sensation of what's going on. Yes, I'll admit I overthink and overanalyze to the core, and sometimes I ruminate of the days and events that came about, be it the good days, the bad days, as well in those events, whatever I went through. And I'm saying this, people get mad at me for doing this, of the overthinking, overanalyzing, but that's just how I roll with things. And in saying this, hopefully people will understand me better. You may call it paranoia, you may call me crazy, you may call me whatever label mentality that is discouraging and is negative, but in the afterthought of all that massive thing, it's not in my head, it's just their chemical imbalance. But I know what I know and what I'm feeling at that given done right, You just need to walk in my shoes, use your eyes, remove your scales off your eyes, and actually basically, in saying this, maybe use my pair of eyes to see what my world is like, or even my life in general. I want you all just to be empathetic again, and not sympathetic, patient and supportive when I'm going through these everyday battles. However, my escape for me, if I feel that my anxiety or social anxiety is triggering me to the core, is either being at a peaceful place that I can sit down and meditate, be it in a forest, be it in a beach, be it somewhere calm and peaceful that I can just sit down, breathe, meditate, take down some notes, or even just, surround myself with the surroundings and actually just connect with human nature one way or another. Another escape for me is basically, as I said, it can be on this channel via my blogs, by writing down to pen to paper or paper to the screen, and just saving it and sharing it with you guys of my deepest, darkest thoughts. or even somewhere inside the home, regardless where it may be it if it's in my parents' place, that's usually my safe place, regardless what it may be. You know, I'm finally am breaking free from my anxiety and social anxiety. As you've seen in some of my videos, I've been trying to push myself to go outdoors and do things. As you've seen some of the events that's been going on in my local area or outside my local area here in New Zealand. You may have seen some of the videos that I've been with Father Light and all that, and like little steps at a time, I'm trying to tell myself, you know, knowing my triggers, what causes me to, you know, tense up or triggers my anxiety and everything is the main thing. You know, yes, I may feel insecure some days, you know, when I have my bad days, you know, comparing people with their looks or how they act toward me or whatever. And in saying this, obviously with that rumination and whatnot of what's going on, of the overanalyzing, overthinking, I'll just replay the events time in, time out inside my head. The days of yesterday, the days of the past and whatnot, some days, depending. Yes, I do have the everyday struggles of making friends and keeping friends due to this, even though it shouldn't be that hard if people just understand you for you, and only people probably that knows what it's like living with anxiety and social anxiety or any other mental health condition will basically probably be with you and support you. Yes, I am doing better with my eye contact when it comes down to when I'm engaging conversation. It does take a while, but then sometimes when I'm holding my conversations with you and looking at you guys, sometimes I'm trying to make sure to take a break and look to the left or right of me so that it doesn't feel like I'm really, you know, scaring you guys off or putting you guys off or whatever feeling that you feel towards me, because obviously at the end of the day, you know, you can't force an autistic to actually make the eye contact either. It's a no-no, and I have actually mentioned about eye contacts with autistics somewhere, and I'll link it in the eye bar me as well as hopefully in the description. Another thing is basically, as I said before I end this, is, you know, when it comes down to this fight, flight, fright response or the meltdowns and shoutdowns and these other different phases that goes through of my sensory overload when I'm autistic, basically you just got to bear in mind that with a meltdown, it's not like a tantrum or anything. People mistake a tantrum and a meltdown, which I'll again link it in the description about the differences between a tantrum and a meltdown, as well as maybe another video for you guys, maybe based on that, on the playlistings of meltdowns and whatnot, so that you can understand me and more people that you may go about knowing who has autism or some form of condition that makes them feel the way they do. So hopefully this is good enough for you guys to understand me, and saying this is, again, this is just what it feels like. I'm just not wanting any sympathy or anything, just wanted to, you know, share my experiences, what life is like with social anxiety and anxiety, because they come hand in hand, as well as some other conditions that I have in the mix that I want to share with you all. If you did enjoy it, smash the like, feel free to comment below, feel free to also, as I said earlier in the piece, to subscribe if you want to join me on the bandwagon as a family member. Feel free to also turn on the notification bell after that decision if you do decide. And in saying this, also feel free to share these videos around. And in saying this also, just as a heads up, as I said so many times before, I'm doing some projects right now and just trying to save up as much as I can to get these projects up and running, hopefully for you guys that are interested in autism awareness and whatever else I do on this channel, because as I said, I want to really advocate for you all, because that's where my passion lies, helping you guys out one way or another. So enough for the day, guys. Thanks for your support, thanks for watching, do what you love what you do, and I'll see you again soon. Ciao for now.